This video is about the relationship issues that happen to be very common. There are several relationship issues that are more common than you think and that you should not be that concerned about. To find out what these issues are, please stay tuned to this video. Welcome to the SCG Show, the home of education entertainment, and please do me a favor, if you really enjoyed this video, smash that like button. I would really appreciate it. I cannot emphasize this enough. Relationships are not easy. And if you believe they are, you've been lied to. You've been lied to by social media, reality TV, Hollywood, other people, family, etc. They're challenging. They can make or break a person, and there can be no picnic all the way through. People are often naively sleepwalking into unhappy marriages, having kids, taking on mortgages, mountains of debt, moving to the suburbs, and so on. And as a result, they shrug their shoulders as to, how did I get here in the first place? Suddenly, over the last decade, with divorce cases through the roof worldwide, people are now subscribing to a brand new way of thinking. Such as men who go their own way, being single for the rest of their life, the red pill, the purple pill, and so on. Communities for men and women of largely bitter and broken people who have been severely burnt from relationships of some sort, encouraging people, don't make the same mistake that I did. I am not against the red pill and so on, or these philosophies. However, I get why they exist, and in some cases, they have actually really transformed and helped people change their lives for the better. Having said that, to totally write off relationships or marriages is a real shame. Some of the most wonderful and successful people I've ever met are in seriously happy relationships. And they have inspired me, despite having so many toxic relationships myself, to not give up of something genuine. When approaching this video, I strongly recommend that you have an open mind. Sometimes we adopt relationship standards that are indeed not real, or we assume that we are in a relationship that we can balloon up to a weight that's unhealthy and we can take advantage of that person. Or we can take things for granted. Or perhaps you're married now and you could be very frivolous with your finances because your husband or your wife will bail you out. No. Having said that, just because you go through a minor rough patch does not mean you need to throw in the towel and give up completely. That's not the right approach to a problem. The better way to deal with it is head on, and to not be delusional or in denial. With that being said, here are relationship issues that are very common. Number 1, arguments. It's extremely common to argue with your partner, and if you're not, well, that's not normal either. Now, let's be clear. Arguing all the time about trivial things to the point where things get really heated and, God forbid, violence occurs is totally unacceptable and dangerous, and always seek the authorities if that happens. However, if you're clashing over the simplest and stupidest things, that is very normal. A very happy couple I know got married, then had a child a year or so later. A beautiful baby boy who is the sunshine of their life. However, these newlyweds barely married a year and they already had a child. And the guy said to me, "We're actually arguing, me and my wife, more than ever." And the wife mentioned, "It's true, we are clashing a lot." Go figure. Look how much more responsibility and how much your life has changed. You've only just got married, which is great, but you've also just had a child. Who told you it was going to be a picnic? It is all challenging and tough, but despite their arguments, they're still so much in love, and they plan to have a second child soon, despite finding it very difficult and challenging, but adapting to their responsibilities. Arguments of any kind are normal, as you live together, sleep together, eat together, and spend so much time doing almost everything together. Naturally, of course, you are going to get on each other's nerves. I mean, who wouldn't? This is totally normal. Number 2, the feeling of suffocation. Some people feel they're suddenly suffocated in a relationship, and in some cases both parties, aka both partners, may feel this way. This can be more of a gradual issue that can happen rather than one that happens straight away. It usually occurs after spending a considerable amount of time together, especially after that honeymoon period kind of dies down. A couple I know used to spend all day and every day with each other. On top of that, they actually worked for the same company. So they'd go to work, see each other all day, go home, sleep, eat together, you know the drill. And then the woman said, I feel suffocated. My partner's always there, it's just too much. This is normal. This is obviously an extreme case, and he felt the same way. Suffocation is a completely normal thing to have in a relationship. And basically, you just want room to breathe. You just want a tiny little bit of space, and as I've always said, space is sexy. She said, I just want to not put my makeup on, sit in my PJs, eat some ice cream, eat some chocolate, and do absolutely nothing and not feel self-conscious. And he says, I just want to sit in my underwear, drink a beer, watch the game, play some PlayStation. You know the drill. AKA, they just want to relax and be themselves. They don't want to have to be on all the time. I'm not saying that they're making them feel that way, but you know what it means when you're dating somebody. This is a totally normal and very common issue to feel suffocated. Number 3, growing apart. Time is a huge factor in a couple growing apart, which again is totally normal and very common. Here's an example. A couple I know used to be thrill seekers when they first met. They used to love doing all types of extreme sports, and they loved doing it together. Skydiving, rock climbing, scuba diving, you name it. Then they settled down, got married, and had a couple of kids. The husband unfortunately developed a series of health issues and could no longer do those extreme sports he loved so much when he was younger and with his wife. And the wife actually had some problems with her spine, and she was medically written off jumping out of a plane or going rock climbing. Therefore, the pair of them realized that despite how they first met and fell in love, they actually didn't have much in common anymore. And they felt, oh no, we're drifting and growing apart. But then one day, the wife came home and suggested the pair of them try out yoga because of their health issues. And ever since, they've bonded for years, traveling to different places around the world, going to retreats and doing yoga together as a couple every day. What they initially drifted apart from changed over time. That's a part of life. But they reunited over something new and fell in love all over again thanks to yoga, which is interesting. Are you enjoying this video? If you are, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. Next up, and it's a big one, it's money. Money is the number one source of arguments, disagreements in most households, not just in relationships with families, friends. Money can make or break any type of relationship. So if you and your partner are arguing about your finances, your money, it's totally normal. Having said that, why you're arguing about your money, that's a completely different kettle of fish. If one of you is really frugal and is incredibly careful with your money, you budget, you save, whilst your partner is extravagant, has a mountain of debt, thinks you're going to bail them out, and so on, that is not good. If anything, that is a red flag. But, for example, discussing any of the following when it comes to money: your contributions towards your bills, your savings plan, your investment plan, college funds, emergency funds, retirement funds. All of these are important discussions, and if you clash and you're having issues over them on that side, not what I said before, that is very, very common and very, very normal. Number 5, chores. If one of you is not pulling their weight, expect an argument for sure. And do not be alarmed about this, it's totally normal to argue over. A couple I know recently bought a brand new house and they moved in together. She came from a very controlling household where her dominant mother did everything and anything for her. Whereas he came from a broken home and he was independent and always had to fend for himself from a young age. So he used to cook, clean, wash up, whereas she was actually quite lazy. Naturally, they clashed a lot. It was not fair that he did all the chores while she sat around doing nothing, expecting it to be done. They argued for months until finally the penny dropped with her. She started pulling her weight. She started cooking more, cleaning more, realizing if the chores aren't going to get done, they're not going to get done. She even started showing more appreciation for her man, despite the fact she was so spoilt by her mother, and realized, my God, this is 50-50. Yes, that's correct. Chores are 50-50, in my opinion as well. And totally, absolutely normal to clash over who's done the washing, who's done the cooking, and so on. Totally, totally normal. Lastly, don't give up. I echo the statement I made at the beginning of the video. Relationships are hard. And they can get harder as you get older and you get more responsibilities. Therefore, I encourage you to not give up, especially if you love that person and they love you back. Sure, if you're dating a toxic, narcissistic person, different story. But assuming you're not, my advice is to hang in there and ride the wave. Life is challenging. Relationships can be no picnic. But being sat opposite the person you love and who loves you after being through such difficult times and weathering the storms are actually very blissful moments. Things are going to go wrong. Bad things will happen. That's a part of life. But it is sticking through, especially the tricky parts, that's important. Most people give up on things at the first sign of difficulty, and in my opinion, they will only go on to repeat it over and over again with somebody else. Again, assuming their partner is not toxic, a narcissist, a sociopath, etc. But if you and your partner see it through, I assure you, better days are coming, and it is better on the other side. So don't give up. Thank you so much for watching.